let's talk about ESPPs. This stands for Employee Stock Purchase Plans, and they typically allow you to buy your company's stock at a discounted rate. So at first glance, this can look like a recipe for focusing way too much of your net worth on your employer's success, which is dicey for the obvious reason that your paycheck is also dependent to some degree on your employer's success. So eggs meet one highly concentrated basket. They are intended to be an employee perk that allows you to buy stock more cheaply, but they are technically not considered compensation in the same way RSUs and ISOs are. According to a company called Human Capital, 85.5% of information technology companies and 68.3% of healthcare companies in the S&P 500 offer ESPPs to their employees. And in the Russell 3000, it's 67% of IT companies and 60% of healthcare companies that provide them. So in other words, if you work for a large public company, the chances are good that you will have some variation of this option available to you. But there are many different ways to structure such a perk, and the way your perk is structured really matters. So depending on how your ESPP is set up, it might be a way to get some guaranteed returns on your money. Now, I am personally not a fan of them in general when used as intended, because like we said, you're putting all your eggs in this one basket, but I do like the side door technique to guaranteed ROI if structured correctly. So let's take a walk down benefits planning lane, shall we? If your plan provides a discount, so typically it's going to be up to 15% on the stock, allows you to accumulate your cash contributions over the defined accumulation period or offering period, usually between 6 and 12 months, and then buys the discounted shares of your company's stock on the purchase date, and allows you to sell them immediately with reasonable trading costs. So think no restrictions, no blackout dates, with bonus points if your program will allow you to just automate that sale so it happens immediately. Then you may be in a good position to take advantage of this little hack. So by allocating a portion of your income to a plan like this, you will guarantee a 15% return on your investment minus ordinary income tax. For example, if your company's stock costs $10 per share and you get a 15% discount, your company would accumulate your cash contributions during each pay period over the length of the offering period. Then it would buy the shares for $8.50 each on the purchase date. So if you were able to place that sell order immediately, you are earning a guaranteed $1.50 profit per share on which you would pay short-term capital gains taxes come April. Now, of course, you do have to weigh this priority with your other financial priorities, like contributing to your 401k. Maybe you're also contributing to an HSA or a Roth IRA. But if you are in a position where you've checked your major boxes and you're looking for other hashtag optimizations to make, it might be worth exploring whether or not your employer stock purchase program is structured in a way that would make this possible. Scott and James had some thoughts as well.
You can purchase up to $25,000 worth of stock in a year. So usually you enter the program at the beginning of the open window, and then the window usually is either a year period or every 6 months. And while you're doing that, normally it's written such that if something really terrible happens in your life and you need that cash, you can actually ask for it back. And then you can just utilize it, but you won't get that benefit then, right? So for the period of time that the window has opened, which is usually annually, then you can't re-enter until the next cycle. And then so long as you are allowed, and you want to double check the documentation that you're allowed to sell and the windows are open, the moment your purchase occurs, the hack that people are thinking about actually happens. You can purchase something for $22,500, gets you $25,000. You can sell it the next day for very little gain or loss, and you get to reap the reward. Essentially a 15% return. Now you have to pay taxes on it, but it's still a really nice return. So that is useful. But the thing to be careful about is to look at the rules and make sure that the rules and the way that the windows are structured will allow you to actually see that benefit.
Yeah, and I think that after a 401k contribution up to the max, this is maybe the best use of your money from a return on investment standpoint, I guess. If I have a 401k and I get a 3% match, if I put 3% in, I just got a 100% rate of return on my investment because it got doubled by my employer. With the ESPPs, you're getting a guaranteed return on your investment that you're not really getting anywhere else if you do it correctly. I think the other benefit too is you'll hear Scott and I talk about this a lot of how can you automate your finances, or how can you do stuff without having to consciously think about it. And this is one of those things where if I have to receive the money and on a monthly basis make the decision to go save it somewhere or invest it somewhere, I'm far less likely to do that than if it's, oh, the company's just withholding this, and then once every 6 months, I just need to set a reminder to go sell it right away and then do what I would otherwise do with those savings with a nice return on investment locked in.